onto the Medicaid rolls instead of waiting until that happens. But we also want to go back to how do we get the cost of health care down? The people in this country have divorced themselves from the cost of health care. They will go to the doctor and 60% of the things that are asked for they don't even need. But they get them just because the doctor tells them to. What we'd like to do is go to a situation where you're involved in the cost, you're involved in the treatment that you get, and just like you go to get your oil changed in your car, they show you the costs and services before you accept it. We want to do the same thing in healthcare so that we can bring those costs down. The second thing is we want to make it transparent from the patient to the doctor and the doctor to the insurance company. We should see these costs go through every single step, because that's not happening, and we're seeing hidden costs in that process. Thirdly, we are working with the federal delegation that we have to allow insurance companies to cross state lines. You deserve to have as many options in health care as you do for your car insurance, and you don't have that right now. And that's the last thing that we're trying to do. But I do understand that we've got a lot of people who are worried about health care. What we are going to try and do is bring that cost down, and we're going to try and help all of you that are uninsured be able to get onto the roll so that it's something that you can afford.
I have one more question. Like if you like 60 and from 60 to 65, you caught in between. So what are you saying? You're going to try to help people from 60 to 65 until they can get on Medicare?
What I do want to do, Becca, where are you? If you will give her your name and number, I want to put you directly in contact with Health and Human Services and see what your options are, and we'll see what we can do to find for you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have two questions. The first one is, when I was younger, I noticed that video poker machines were very popular, and I was wondering if there's a possibility that they can be brought back to help towards educational funding and also bring jobs into the workforce as well.
There's a few people that want to talk about video poker again, and I would challenge you to look at it this way. First of all, they wanted to start the lottery because they wanted to be able to help students receive scholarships so that they could afford college. Good idea, good concept. I understand where they were going with it. Everybody got scholarships, but guess what? The universities just raised the tuition just as much as what the scholarship was, so it was a wash. So what it taught us was, if you're going to do something, do it right or don't do it. The second side of it is, rather than looking for increased revenue, we really need to be looking at, are we spending money wisely? Because we're really not. We're overspending in all aspects of things, and if we want to keep tuition low, if we want to keep expenses low, that's what we want to talk about. And then the third thing is, what we also found with video poker is, it's a dangerous habit. It adds on to the state's roles in terms of crime. It adds on in terms of healthcare. It adds on in terms of all of these other things that we just don't want in South Carolina. We were blessed to get rid of it. We need to just keep it out.
South Carolina has made higher education funding cuts due to recent tax. Excuse me, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. I'm the one that should be nervous.
But if the state continues to cut higher education funding, thereby hindering its future workforce, me and all my friends, is it realistic to say that we're going to recover from this?
Yes, and the way we are is we're going to go to the new higher ed funding formula. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I have challenged all colleges and universities to put their spending online. Don't you deserve to know how they're spending your money? Because we do. When you have to see how they spend, then you know exactly whether they're spending it the way they're supposed to, and they're more conscious to the way they spend. So when we do the new funding formula, we allow them to put spending online, and we focus on job training in South Carolina. We will make sure that you have the job that you need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, my second question was, what is your motive behind expunging the Pell Grant?
Expunging the Pell Grant.
Yes, I heard that there wasn't going to be any more Pell Grant funding, or it was going to be cut short, or summer school Pell Grants were not going to be here anymore.
No, can't say anything to that. I have not said anything about that. Yeah, and it's federal. I think there must be some discussion on the federal standpoint, but not on the state.
Hey, Governor Haley.
Hi.
My name's Tammy Casperman. I recently graduated from Winthrop University with my master's in social work.
Yay.
And I I was training in a special program that we have here in the state to develop a new leadership within DSS to be more responsible and have accountability for child welfare, for families, for children who are in need. However, as I apply for jobs, I'm not meeting the requirements for the positions. Do you ever see a time where the state government and the standards for programs will actually meet? Because actually, I'm highly qualified, but as I apply for positions, I'm turned down because I'm not qualified by the exact same state that trained me.
And that's within DSS that you're having that problem? Okay. Catherine, we'll get your name and number, and we will get you in touch with them tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for being here, Governor.
Sure.
How will you prioritize funding, specifically for education, to focus on job security for educators?
The one thing I will tell you is we have the most committed teachers in the country. I'm convinced in South Carolina. We really do. The problem is we expect so much from the teachers. They're the parent, they're the pastor, they're the guidance counselor. I mean, and they're expected to pass things according to a test. It's too much for any one person, and then they're graded on something that's really not in their control. What we need to see is, first of all, there is too much money going to the Department of Education in Columbia. And I have said as long as I can, and I will continue to say it, and you'll see us push it again this year, that there are 1,000 people that work at the Department of Education, and half of them work just on school buses. And that's not where the money needs to be going. So you will continue to hear us talk about privatizing school buses. The Department of Education doesn't need to be in the bus business, and I'm determined to get that out. But the second side of it is, what do we do for teachers? First of all, we've got to get the money to the teacher, student, technology in the classroom. We've got to make sure administration is not top-heavy. We have to really question 85 school districts in this state and whether we need to have that many. Because that's 85 buildings, 85 superintendents, 85 full administrative staffs, and that's money that's not going down to the teacher. What I would like to do is go to a performance pay again, just like we talked about with higher ed, where we go and we send a certain amount to the school district. Let them decide how to spend it. Don't let Columbia decide, but let the local district decide how to spend the money, and let the principal give that merit pay to the teachers, because they're the ones that deal with the teachers directly. And get the rules out of the way for the teachers. The teachers need to teach. Every teacher has a different culture they have to teach in. And teaching in Bamberg is not the same as teaching in Orangeburg, and it's not teaching the same as Rock Hill. What we have to do is improve our students from one year to the next. Students did better years ago when they didn't have all these regulations on the teachers. We need to pull that back. So that's what I'd like to see happen. That's what Dr. Zais and I have talked about doing, and that's what we hope we can do for the teachers going forward.